Welcome back, everybody.
Ooh, welcome back.
So, government shutdown. What's DC like?
It's amazingly just besides the traffic patterns being like so much nicer.
Is it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got it. So my commutes to work are fantastic since Christmas.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. I
because
didn't realize
oh
that much would be affected. I mean,
so,
obviously this is where the government happens, but like, I don't know. I didn't
yeah.
think
Well,
about.
being that there's only like a part of the government that shut down, I'm surprised it's as obvious at how much it's changed the traffic patterns as well. But it's interesting because even in general, at least Friday morning commutes to work have always been very easy commutes to get to work because I think most government employees, I can't say most, a lot of government employees have a either a flex work week where they have Fridays off or work from home on Fridays.
Really?
So Fridays has notoriously, I know it's only going to take me 10 to 15 minutes to drive from my house to the office at the normal time. Whereas on like a Tuesday morning, it's a solid 25-30 minute drive because of traffic. And I'm only 3 miles to the T away from where I work.
This is why I don't drive in DC, everybody.
So it's always, all my commutes have been like 10 to 15 minute, drives. And it's even more noticeable in the afternoon because even on Fridays when a lot of people are working from home, traffic in DC in general is just pretty intense in the afternoon time frame, which I always found odd. Like if you're driving out of the city in the morning, if I have to go to a meeting up at my corporate headquarters, which is out in Maryland somewhere, and I have to be there for a 9 o'clock meeting, I can actually leave at 8:15 and be 30 miles away out of DC in 45 minutes. Coming back in, no matter what, coming into the city in the afternoon rush hour. I mean, so everybody else should be theoretically leaving the city at this point.
Right.
It still will take me an hour and a half to get home.
Huh.
I don't
Wonder
know
that
why
is.
the afternoon coming into the city is just as bad as leaving the city. But the morning, it's straight up. If you're leaving the city in the morning, you have the road to yourself, man.
Huh.
Hopefully, you didn't forget anything because you don't want to turn around to come back.
Yeah. Right. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know where you live. If you live by a major city anywhere that. Oh, this is only efficiency 4.
I live in the woods.
So you don't deal with any traffic patterns ever that are.
No. I mean, like if I have to go to Raleigh for something, then sure. But I mean, it's one of those things that might happen once a year, twice a year. For the most part, I don't ever go into a city at all.
Yeah, however, the bars are still having government furlough specials.
So give me some examples. Have you participated in any of these?
I haven't because there's not as many as there was for the. So a couple of years ago, there was the 6-week full government shutdown.
6 weeks?
I think it was 6 weeks. I'm trying to remember. Julia
They're
works
saying no, it can't be because this one's about to be the longest government shutdown in history. And they said that's 20 days.
Maybe it felt like 6 weeks. Let's see.
Yeah,
What was
20
it? 20
days is 20 days is the longest ever.
When was that? The last furlough. The last full government shutdown. Not 18. It was what? 15? Government shutdowns in the United States. I'm looking right now because I'm trying to remember how long this thing actually lasted. 86 December 2000. Those are state government shutdowns. 2005. When was the last furlough? Government furlough. It looks like it might have been 2013 time frame. I was trying to look for a length of time, not like it's giving me all the history on it at all. I just want to know like start to finish.
Yeah.
When was this damn shutdown? October 1st to October 17th.
Okay, so 16 days.
Yeah,
17.
only
But
16 days. I don't know why I thought it was 6 weeks. Like in my mind, I had 6 weeks there.
I think they said when I was just watching the news that 2007 was the one that was 20 days, and that was the longest in history.
I didn't live live in DC yet in 2007. Yeah. Well, actually, I just moved here. No, I didn't move. I didn't move here yet.
I think it's interesting. Just some of the things I never thought of, like, I mean, it's not interesting, I guess it's all, but like I was telling you before we started recording about food stamps, I never really had considered that food stamps would be a thing that would go away with the government shutdown. I mean, it makes sense. It's just not the thing I had considered.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this one's so different because it's only a partial government shutdown, so it's hard to know what is and is not affected until it starts affecting things. Whereas the one in 2013, if I recall, was a full government shutdown.
I think the thing that's so crazy to me about that is that now you're not even affecting just federal employees. Like, I mean, I wonder how many families in America rely on food stamps.
Keep in mind, though, you've never only been affecting government employees. Just because the government employees are the ones that either aren't going to work or have to go to work without pay, like the TSA people, because they're, essential employees and all this stuff. I think the tax service isn't running, IRS, as we talked about. If you're owed money from the IRS, you're not getting it right now. You can't go to any museums and all, and not that that's necessarily like an important, like we must go to a museum or whatever, but they're closed down. But what about like the TSA? The TSA is supposedly essential employees, but they're talking right now about having they're boycotting in a way by everybody's calling out to protest. And when the TSA calls out, what the hell happens when there's no TSA agents anymore? Do they just let you on a plane, or do they ground all planes?
Yeah, I didn't realize there's 1.3 billion people that fly in America every day. I think it's what the number I saw was. Maybe it's 1.3 million, because billion sounds like a lot, but maybe that is right. I don't know. Is 1.3
billion would be a lot, because that would be 1/7 of the world population.
Yeah. As those words came out, I was like, that can't be right. So yeah, it must be 1.3 million people fly every day.
Well, if 1.7 or 1.3 billion people fly in America every day, maybe we do have a problem with our border security.
Yeah, no, it had to have been a million. Because but I mean that's a lot of people that are in the air every day.
Yeah, I mean, and at some
point, if you just shut down one airport, it's like a nightmare for airlines, basically. So shutting them all down, just even if you did that for a day, getting things back going after that is a nightmare. And how does that affect things like, let's say, like FedEx or whatever? If the airport shut down because TSA agents, doesn't that prevent?
Oh yeah, shit! I didn't even think about that, because I'm betting that TSA still has something to do with, even if the FedEx owned their own planes and their own pilots and their own crews, you'd think they still have to go through some sort of TSA
some kind of
screening of some type.
Right.
They're not just going to let them roll. And then all of a sudden, if you have to start shutting down airports because of the fact that you don't have any flights flying because you don't have any TSA people, who works at the airports? Those aren't government employees that work at, the random stores and stuff.
Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this thing goes crazy. And then what do you do? So that's my question is, the TSA employees are essential employees. So they're expected to be working without pay.
Now, in the past, they've always received back pay afterwards.
So I can't say always, but yes, in the past, a lot of employees have received back pay. I'm not sure if it's 100% of them or not, because they write it into the new budget that covers the back pay. And in my opinion, and I know last government shutdown, the one that my wife got to participate in, that's why I thought it was 6 weeks, because I was so jealous that she was off work and got back pay. They knew that they were going to get back pay at the beginning. I don't know how they knew. Maybe it was just they assumed that they would, and they did. Right. The people who were not allowed to work got pay. And while I understand that to an extent, I'm expecting to get my paycheck every single week. I go to work to get my paycheck every week. If my work told me, by the way, for the next 2 weeks, you can't come in and we're not going to pay you just because we're low on money or something like that, just come back in 2 weeks and you won't get paid for the next 2 weeks, that would fuck me up. I wouldn't.
I would immediately start looking for another job.
Right. So while I can somewhat agree that they still need to get their back pay, because you can't just be this is what you've come to rely on and we've just made it so you don't have it anymore. The essential employees, in my opinion, if you made them work during the shutdown, you better fucking write into that new budget that they get their.
Fuck, they need to get like some kind of like time and a half or some shit. Honestly,
but
it should be like holiday pay.
How long? What Trump has stated that he is okay with this shutdown going on for months or years. How long do you anticipate?
Years.
Yeah, how long do you anticipate your essential employees just being like, well, I'm a year into my job without pay at this point. Hopefully one day the shutdown will end. Like, what do you
know what I think? I think that it'll be open again after it becomes the longest shutdown in history. I don't know why you would want that on your record, but I feel like he just just like
he did own it this time. Whereas before he's threatened to shut down a couple times. This exact same shutdown, and basically the last minute kind of quote unquote pussied out, and because obviously it was a stupid thing to do. And this time it was almost like he had said before the deadline that he wasn't going to let it come to a shutdown because that would be a bad thing to do. And all of a sudden was like, nope, never mind, changed my mind, shut down. Like, which was the opposite that he'd done before. But, oh God, I'm going to die. I'm trying to escape all these mobs. Too many skeletons. Run, run, run. Yeah, so I'm interested to see, like, is he going to try to make this a record shutdown and then end it? Is he... after watching tonight's thing, so if you guys didn't realize, we just watched the presidential address, and then we started recording. After tonight's thing, I don't think he portrayed a point enough that's going to rally enough support for his side that he can continue the shutdown anymore.
Honestly, that presidential address, I mean, I've watched a lot of presidential addresses in my time, and I'm really confused at what I just watched. Like, I feel like it had no substance. A lot of people online were calling it a campaign rally or whatever, which I don't even agree with that. I don't think he rallied anyone. I don't know. It was very hard for me to follow. I almost feel like I should have watched it with subtitles and not listened, because the way, since he doesn't have any reading comprehension. And I'm not just picking on Trump people out there. If you're a Trump supporter, that's fine. Well, I mean, you do you. But the man doesn't know how to read. I mean, he knows how to read the words, but he knows how to read the words at almost the same level my daughter knows how to read words. And that's just the fact of the matter. Anyone that listens to him read has to remember being in 3rd or 4th grade and listening to people read that are just learning how to read. And yes, he can read, but he cannot read and understand what he's reading, at least out loud. Like, you have to be able to hear that when he's speaking. And that makes it so hard to listen to.
Yeah, it was... And I was telling you before we started recording, I've seen Trump give speeches that I don't agree with, but he's been very, like, fired up and very articulate. And articulate maybe isn't the right word, but he was basically slinging from the hip and saying what he felt like saying, which is one of the reasons I didn't agree with.
And so he has like emotion in his words.
Right, basically. Yeah, it was emotional. This one was the most anti-emotional. I am reading this speech from this piece of paper to you right now. Rhetoric that I was like, when he started, the very first few lines out of it, or first words out of his mouth were, "My fellow Americans," and it was done in such a way, it was like, "My fellow Americans." I was like, oh my God, like Robot Trump, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could, for one thing, I've heard before that he technically needs glasses but he thinks that they don't look good on a person, and you could see him squinting to even see the damn words he's trying to read. It's like, man, it's not, you're still gonna be a man if you put on some fucking glasses. And God damn it,
they'll make him look smarter.
This is true.
But not just
they're squinting and trying to read.
And not just to bash the the quote unquote Republican side of the world or the Trump side of the world, like you said about the Democratic response.
Oh yeah. So whatever, Nancy Pelosi's got this damn face where she's like, it's like she doesn't know when to blink. She kind of reminds me of the Facebook Mark Zuckerberg when it comes to blinking. Like, okay, think, blink. Like, she's got these damn eyeballs that are so fucking big. So she starts off speaking, and meanwhile Chuck Schumer's just sitting there, and he looks like he's trying to scare everybody. Basically,
he looks like he's debating which child he's gonna molest next. Like,
yeah,
that was the look
scared
of his face.
Yeah.
But then when he actually, like, so it was funny because I don't know if you didn't see it. Nancy Pelosi gave a Democratic rebuttal as the oh Jesus Christ, Senate Majority Leader. Is that her title?
Yes.
Yeah, Senate Majority Leader, and then Schumer as
House Majority Leader.
The House Minority Leader.
No,
right?
We took back the House. Yeah, she's the House Leader.
Wait, she's the House Majority Leader, and he's the Senate Minority Leader.
Right.
Either way, whichever one it is, she went first, he went second, and we were both thinking that, like, the way she ended it, it almost felt like the speech was ending, and.
Yep, and he was just gonna.
And he was just the whole time was just
down.
gonna have stood there looking scary as fuck, and then it was just gonna end. Luckily, he said something, and he's actually a good speaker.
But once he stopped scaring everybody, like
once he
his
stopped
face
scaring
became like
everybody, yes.
softer and like I guess I never really looked him like dead on like that, but I was terrified that he was just gonna leave and leave everyone terrified and nightmares for the night.
While watching, it was so funny because I used to love the Daily. I still like the Daily Show, but I loved like when Jon Stewart was the lead of the Daily Show. I thought it was one of the greatest news parody shows that ever existed, and all I could picture was them showing clips of that on the Daily Show and Jon Stewart just sitting there going, "Come on, Chuck, move!" Like,
yeah, he wasn't blinking,
Chuck.
he wasn't doing anything but scaring everybody. Oh. And I didn't think that honestly, I didn't think anyone's speech had a lot of substance. I think Chuck's speech was the best of all of them, but like, I didn't think.
Well,
I mean,
it wasn't new. It was just basically like, let's be civil, people. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's not have a temper tantrum and let's talk about this like civilized adults. It was essentially what his message was.
Well, and again, I feel like those things should just basically be like, it's like whenever two kids are mad at each other and you're like friends with both of them and they're talking to you instead of talking to each other about each other. Basically,
right,
it's like
right.
you got like Jack and Jill, and then you, and like Jack's like tell Jill, and like they're all in the same room.
Yeah. Since I'm not talking to Jill, tell her that.
Yeah. It's like, we didn't need to hear any of this shit, really. None of this was necessary. It was a complete waste of everyone's time. I think the only one that got anything out of it was the news networks who got all these people to watch.
And the funny thing is, the news networks almost didn't air it.
Well, they were always going to air Trump's side. They just weren't going to air.
Oh, no. I heard that they weren't going to air Trump's side. And
oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Then they basically decided to, quote unquote, give him the benefit of the doubt. And they weren't going to air it. From what I heard on an NPR story today, a lot of them didn't want to air it because he's had so many misrepresented statements that they didn't want to give him the airtime for it. But they only agreed to air it when they allowed for the Democratic rebuttal. I don't know, Audrey.
I know that part's not right, because as of yesterday, Democrats weren't getting airtime, but Trump was.
Oh, see, I was. That's the report I listened to today on NPR was saying the opposite, but that could just
normally
be
NPR's got their shit together, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was definitely on NPR, and I usually trust NPR, but still, the NPR, no matter what, is still like they're still Democratic leaning, no matter how.
Yeah,
bipartisan they try to be. They're definitely Democratic leading. But I'm just so curious on now tomorrow, like, what is this going to have changed a damn thing?
No. Tonight had nothing to do with anything. I don't think. I think tonight was just posturing to bases. Like the Trump was talking to the Republicans, and the Democrats were talking to the Democrats, and tomorrow they're going to continue on same old shit. Like that didn't change, because the shit they said tonight on television is the same shit they've been saying to each other,
in these meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
You ever see the movie, the series Naked Gun?
Yeah.
Just what you were saying about, Jill and, tell Jill, blah, blah, blah. When Leslie, the hell's his name? Leslie Nielsen?
Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen's like, okay, let's settle this like the mature adults we are, Mr. Poopy Pants.
Yeah.
That's
he was a funny guy. I think he's dead now.
I don't
pretty sure
think so.
I thought he was.
I don't remember him dying, but maybe it's the new. Maybe we can start a new effect. It's the Leslie Nielsen effect instead of the Mandela effect. It's just about random comedy things that happen.
Oh my god!
What?
You've got to be kidding me! You know how someone planted Podzol in here? at one point? Remember that?
No, but where? I don't even know where you're talking.
In the farm.
Oh, maybe did it
Someone played a
spread to
puzzle, you
everything?
know how, and yeah, you know how it spreads? You know what else it doesn't do?
I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
let you till it.
So you have to replace the puzzle with dirt?
Yes.
Is there? Can you like? I don't know. Can you turn puzzle into dirt with like shoving water down it or something?
Shoving water down it.
I don't
Swallow
know.
this bitch.
Say, take it, take it. Can you
What if I
shovel
put-
it?
I mean, yeah, you could shovel it. Do you mean like right-click shovel it? Let's
Yeah.
see. Nope, can't do that either.
How much is puzzle?
More than I want to deal with. I'm very disappointed. Putting a block on it doesn't even turn it into dirt. It just stays puzzle.
I don't even remember where puzzle comes from.
Hell, apparently. I've just learned. I think there's more than just this little bit right here, even. There being another bigger patch. Yep, here. Whoever did this, you're a fucking asshole. I hope you're listening.
Where are you at?
Can I till this? Okay, we can till that. This is the worst. Hate
there
it.
you are.
Hate everything.
You sure it's only patches of Podzilla and there's not like whole sections and there's this thing is all Podzilla?
I mean, they start with one block. It's spreading like as we speak, in theory. You know what I mean? Every time we're on, it just keeps spreading.
There's
further and
more
further.
than one block.
Oh, when I mean it started as one block. Is what I'm saying.
No, because there's a whole different section down there that's Podzilla.
Oh no, I mean in these sections. Yes, yeah. There's more than one section of Podzilla too.
Yeah, so there was more than one block that got planted by somebody.
Yeah.
So I guess before this actually...
I need to dig it up, I guess. I hate everything. I think when you dig it up, you get Podzilla even, don't you? No, you just get dirt, thank God.
How do you make Podzilla?
I don't remember. I don't even want to know now.
And if I just shoved water on it? I just shoved this water on it. Nope. Shoving water doesn't do nothing. Yeah, and it don't change, huh? What else spreads? Oops. Trying to think if there's a way to like anything else that would spread that you can grow on it.
Maybe mushroom. I don't actually know. I'll just dig it up. I'd just be very angry at whoever did this to me.
Oh, you know what? Be careful because it looks like there's Podzilla in between.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So
did somebody do this? Was this a prank?
I mean, I think it was just being silly. I don't think they knew what they were doing, but I could be wrong.
Oh,
they may have known you couldn't.
They also
couldn't
did a speech today.
They did what?
They also did a speech today. They didn't know what they were doing. Okay. Yeah, I took care of this section over here. Except I somehow dug up a lot of Podzilla and didn't have the same amount of dirt in response.
Yeah, a couple might hit the water, and that's really shitty.
Yeah, maybe that's why. They're waiting down at the bottom somewhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do this with this super efficiency shovel, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is Podzilla for?
Looks.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Be nice if they had done something with it, huh?
I mean, you can say that about a lot of things in this game. Like,
That's
what the fuck?
true.
Poisonous potatoes. Why is that a thing? Why doesn't it do anything?
Yeah, why are poisonous potatoes a thing?
No one knows. Not even the people that work on this game.
I mean, I wonder what the intent of that even was.
I don't think anyone knows.
I keep losing a lot of this Podzilla down the water.
piece.
You what?
I missed a piece.
Where'd you miss it at? Like
in that one little spot where it can get in between the things.
And you're gonna fix all this thing and come back one day and it's just all going to be
I'm trying
repodzled.
I was trying to till it all now, so if it's tilled it won't become podzle as well. You just can't till it.
Are you sure?
I think I am sure.
that is a very sure thing. To think that you are sure, definitely the surest of the things.
I feel sure about my sureness.
My sureness seems pretty sure. There's paths. There's more podzol here. Man, this really played some destructive hell, huh? I think, despite who did this, we should release the lava.
Release the lava.
In retaliation.
I feel like it was Breon that did this. I want to blame Breon.
We do need to do something with that lava.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a lot of comments of people very, very, very upset with even the discussion of a reset.
Yeah? What'd they say?
That they were very upset with even the discussion of a reset.
Why?
I don't know. They just they didn't want there to be a reset. They find it a stupid concept and stupid idea. I think they don't think that there's enough new content that's added to warrant a need for a reset to lose all the things that are.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I don't think there's a point in a reset. Why are we resetting?
I mean, yeah, unless because if you need some new terrain, you just go out and find new terrain, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand the logic.
I mean, I'm not the one who suggested a reset, so I also don't understand the logic.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I thought maybe you could devil advocate it up a little bit, but yeah, I guess you got nothing to be the devil.
I mean, after we finish this farm, we could make a wall. The biggest wall, and see between the old and the new terrain.
Stevinus and them used to do this stream thing at Nerd Fusion's office where this is right after, this is why I think it was either during the election or right after the election, where people would donate for a brick in the wall, and they just like kept building this wall, and then someone else could donate to like tear it down. So they just like spent their day making money building and tearing down a wall.
That's kind of funny.
That's something they should do at the bars there when these on these drink nights, is have like those like cardboard bricks from like not high school, from like kindergarten or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? You could buy a brick in the wall.
That would be actually really I'm surprised there's not bars doing something like that.
Maybe just no one's had the idea.
That's possibly true. And nobody can afford a bar to just start one up to have that idea.
Yeah. Let's start a bar, Jeff.
Oh, there's certain places you easily could just go do that. Not in DC. It amazes me how many pop-up bars there are. And I mean, like, storefronts that I've constantly watched change management and be open for 2 months and then close down. And then it reopens as a different bar and closes down. And it reopens as a different bar and closes down. Because people want to get into it. They find this opening. They get into it and realize they also can't afford the thing that just failed there at the same place.
Yeah. Yeah. I always find it very strange whenever you have, what is this room? What is this new room here?
It looks like it's just more storage. I saw
chest.
that earlier. More storage for.
Yeah. You have this place in your town where restaurants go to die, and like you would think after seeing 6 restaurants go to die there, you wouldn't also start a restaurant in the place where restaurants go to die, but people do.
Yeah, and I mean, and I get it if one restaurant died, or buying a restaurant because somebody else was losing money on it once. Because, you know, you can just have bad management or a bad concept that didn't fit in with the town. Like, you don't reopen the exact same restaurant. You, like, if a restaurant is like, you know, upscale fine dining restaurant is all of a sudden failing in the town, you turn it into like a, you know, a standard old, you know, Chili's type of restaurant or whatever. Maybe that's what that place can afford and would thrive there. Go for it. Give it a shot. But keep opening the exact same thing. And especially most of the time I see these places, especially bars, you see these brand new bars open. These bars aren't opening with these random like specials that make them a better bar choice for me to go to than a different bar. It's almost like it's, oh, we actually got rid of all the draft beer. We only have bottles and we charge $1 more than everybody else does. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like maybe this bar here failed because they weren't charging enough.
Right. Yeah, that's it. They didn't make enough money, therefore we must charge more to make enough money. That seems like a logical plan, right?
Yeah. There was a place in my little town here where restaurants went to die, and a Subway opened there like 20 years ago, and they're the only restaurant. It's just still a Subway.
And it's actually still surviving?
Yeah. But before that, it had been, I don't know the number of restaurants it had been. It had been many restaurants, and they had never made it. And then Subway moved in there. And I remember when they moved in, I was like, what Subway's moving in to die? But they made it.
I just know we ordered, just takeout Chinese food tonight for dinner. And I was commenting on how I can't believe how comparatively, like if I made the food at home, like it'd be different. But comparatively, Chinese is so cheap compared to anything else. And I wonder in an area like DC, how are these people like staying in business with
quantity? Probably.
I guess it could be, but I can't imagine the Chinese restaurant is like 10 times busier than every other place that exists, right?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Speaking of Chinese places, me and Renee had gone somewhere this weekend, and we passed by this Chinese restaurant because she didn't know where she was going. I was giving her directions. She's like, "Is it in here?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "What's that place?" And there was a Chinese. Chinese.
You're like, that's the last Subway that exists.
Chinese restaurants always have like these weird names. Like it always seems to be some variation of like Rainbow Garden Dynasty. Like, there's always these, like, 4 words that they use, and they just randomize them or something.
Right, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, this
I like China Buffet the best, when they just are called, like, Chinese Buffet or China Buffet.
Yeah. This one was called Silk Road.
Okay, so they do realize Silk Road has a negative connotation.
I guess not, because she was like, where have I heard that before? And I was like, you know what the Silk Road is? And I had to explain to her what the Silk Road was, but I was just shocked.
And I say negative connotation. I might not mean negative connotation, actually, because the Silk Road is probably a very good thing for many people.
Yeah. If you need a hitman.
If you need a hitman or drugs for Bitcoin or whatnot.
Yeah.
It was called the Silk Road.
Well,
could you pay with cryptocurrency?
Probably. I don't know. It really, I mean, it's newly opened. I've never seen it before. So I was just like, I don't know, it kind of reminded me of those signs you see on Reddit sometimes where like Google Translate goes wrong or something and the name of restaurant is like, please translate me or some shit like that.
Please translate me.
It's like they just went online and like, what's some words? Silk Road is real popular here. All right, let's use that.
Oh my God. Maybe in the next episode I'll find it before we start recording, but there was and we'll talk about it maybe in the next episode if I can find it, but I'll make people like just know. There was something that came out right before around Christmas time, and it was the 50 most Googled phrases around the holidays by state.
Okay.
And I will tell
I'd like to hear this.
It was some of the funniest shit that I have ever read in my life. So that's why I started bringing up the
we should stop this
thing.
episode. I haven't even looked at the time. We've been going 34 minutes here. So let's end here. Let's talk about some Google stuff next time.
All right, guys. See you.